Inch, inch, inch. Look at me think. Don't shoot the messenger. Or you just run it. Dent and all, just run it. Do you want to cut my own tire? Not really. Get a good look. Because it's all about to change. Yeah, so much for working outside today. It's raining. We can only do what the weather's going to allow us to do outside. Inside, let's go look and see what we're up to. Good grammar. Let's go have a look. Yeah, we got a major mess going on in here because I've been doing some work off camera. I'll explain. As you may or may not know, the Camaro is in need of a new body. Ain't we all? So, I'm going to try my hand at building the body for the Camaro. And you all saw last week, I went and bought that 4x10 foot sheet of steel from Tilbury Steel. And I posted that video this past Sunday. I got a private message from a guy by the name of Kevin Sabo. I think that's how you say it. If I'm wrong, don't shoot the messenger. He has built a number of Camaro bodies in the past. Great guy, just messaged back and forth, offered to help me out, offered to lend me the templates I used to make his. Here's a couple of pictures of the body that he made. Now I am pretty sure by the last video that you can see I don't have that kind of talent. Nor do I have a metal brake that big. But what I can do is give it a shot. This whole thing, this whole adventure with building the body and fixing this metal stuff is about giving it a shot, trying to learn it. And don't get intimidated by it. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that are really good at this. My father-in-law was a tin guy, and he knows his way around a piece of metal. A lot of you out there build your own bodies, and they look fantastic. We're going to try and do this one here without it looking like a bag of wieners when I'm done, because I want it to look good. So here's what I did. Just like any good redneck would do, I made my way down to the dollar store. I went over to the craft section and picked out 6 sheets of Bristol board. I'm going to use that for tracing. Look at me think. I then motored my way home, started taping some up to the quarter panel on the car, the rear quarter, and I noticed I needed, well, about 6 put together. Actually, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 5 put together. I was close. Here's what I come up with. Got them all taped together just so they won't fall apart on me. Obviously, this is rear, back by the spoiler, goes up here. Now, the wheel well, we're going to talk about that in a second. And this here's the front. I think it turned out pretty good. So I just turned the template over so you can kind of see where we're at here, okay? Again, that's the back. Spoiler's going up here, right? I did trace out the wheel well based on what's there. Now, I don't know how many times that wheel well has been cut. Have to climb an inch each time? I don't know. That would have done, that graphic would have been a whole lot better instead of hopping. If I'd have just went inch, inch, inch. See? That would have, never mind. I traced this out. Now I'm at the point where I need to cut out the wheel well. First, in looking at Kevin's pictures, he does not have the piece here that comes all the way down to the bottom, okay? In front of the wheel well, next to the door. His is cut off right across here, which makes more sense to me. And then the door, when you make the door, it comes up, it covers part of the wheel well, and then that's one big piece. Makes sense. You get damage on the door, you pop the whole panel off, put another panel on, away you go. Or you just run it. Dent and all, just run it. Which would probably be what we're doing. But, like I said, I don't know whether, not sure why I just brought you in tight, but it's okay. I'm sure you wanted to stand that close to me. I'm not sure why I did that. But before I cut this to what it is now, I'm going to cut it probably 1.5 inches inside all the way around. But that way when I mount it to the car, if need be, I can open it up a little bit. Also, I might want to try my hand at building a flange around here. I mean, because let's be real, these edges are a little sharp. Okay, yes, they got to be fixed. I understand that, but they're still a little sharp. And do you want to cut my own tire? Not really. So that's what we're gonna do. So there's the metal brake. It's 30 inches. Even if this piece did fit in there, put a nice bend in it like Kevin's got in his, it's not big enough to do the door. So rather than have a nice tight bend at the back and a mediocre bend down the door, I think we're going to do a mediocre bend from the front to the back using a piece of pipe and a little more care than what I took on the trunk lid. That's enough rambling on. I had to ramble because I had to catch you up, because I went and, all right, I got a little nervous cutting this metal and trying to figure this out. And I didn't want to look like I didn't know what I was doing, even though I don't know what I'm doing. So that's where we're at. So after talking to a few people, I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to put this on in pieces. Obviously in pieces. It's not going to be one piece. But the skirt is going to be in two pieces, and it's going to go up to the rub rail, and the door is going to come down. The rear quarter panel is going to be in two pieces, because it's going to come across here at about 7.5 inches all the way along. It's going to get a slight bend, and then it's going to get cut below that. The bottom of the rear quarter is going to be a separate piece on its own, and in front of the wheel well, that's going to be part of the valance in the door. The idea behind that is it's going to get messed up. The chances of me finding a 2-foot piece of metal as opposed to a 6 or 7 foot piece of metal, pretty good, and that's just the way it is. So that's what I'm going to do. Again, like I said, if I mess up a piece, pop the rivets out, put another piece on, and away you go. If it's that bad. If it ain't that bad, we're just gonna run it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna measure down my 7.5 inches all the way along. I'm gonna grab my piece of 1.5 pipe, put it underneath, and just put a slight bend. Not a crease, just a slight bend. Slight. That's the key. Slight. Without kinking it. Because we don't want to get kinky. Or maybe you do. Not today. Alright, so what I've done is I've got it clamped on each end with the pipe. And again, this is not going to be a crimp. This is just going to be a bend. We're going to go with that. And hopefully it'll work. Boy, George, I think that worked. I think it worked. Bring you all in here for a look. So there we have it. Just a slight little bend. And this is going to be the top of the quarter panel. And we'll cut this off right here. Now obviously your wheel well is going in there, and your door piece will go in there as well. Did I have something just work for a change? It would appear so. Let's do the other quarter, then we're going to get them cut off. So we got our 7.5 inch mark on each end. We're going to go down 2 inches from that 7.5 inch mark. We're going to put another mark, and then we're going to draw a line and cut it off. And this is going to be the top of our quarter panel. I was initially going to go 1 inch. Then I went 2 inches because I'm trying to get a little bit of a buffer here. God knows I need a buffer. Let's get it measured up, marked out, and we'll cut it. And we're going to be cutting it by hand because today, well, today's weather took a turn for the worse. We got 80-kilometer-an-hour winds. It got real cold. Talking about some rain and possibly now snow tomorrow. So can you see me out there with a piece of sheet metal trying to cut it? It ain't gonna work. And obviously I'm not doing it in here. I got wood floors. I was also gonna go get another 4x10 sheet of sheet metal to do the doors. I'm gonna go do that today. Well, again, can you see me trying to get that out of my truck in a windstorm by myself and probably end up over at the neighbors wrapped around their tree? That may have to wait until tomorrow, but for now we can get the quarters done. And Actually, I can probably get the whole quarter done. And the skirting. We're going to mark that at 2 inches. Mark that at 2 inches. So I braved the wind and the cold and went outside with the cutoff wheel and cut down the quarters. Here's where we're at. So this is going to be the top of the passenger side, top of the driver's side. But it would appear my measurements were not too bad. And this is going to get cut out and rolled over to go above the rear tire. I don't think that turned out too bad at all. And the bends, well, they might be a little off, but we're going to be able to work with that. And again, guys, you can only see one side of the car at a time. And no doubt after 2 or 3 laps, it's going to look like a bag of wieners anyway. So, but we are going to do our best to make the bends the same on both sides, so we can kind of at least look like we knew what we were doing when we really know we don't know what we're doing. But again, I want to thank you all, because I get messages every day from guys that are offering to help out with metal brakes and shears and everything and templates, and I appreciate it. I really do. And God knows I need the help, but my stubbornness says I want to try it myself and see what happens. It can be an expensive mistake if it doesn't work, but if it does work, it'd be a whole lot more satisfying. Just give it a shot, guys. That's all you gotta do is give it a shot. If it don't work, it don't work. You move on. What we got left to do now that the top quarters are cut, I'm not gonna cut the lower rear quarter out just yet. I'm gonna put these on first. Actually, no, they're not going on in today's video. They're just gonna get set aside, because right now we're gonna put the skirt together, and according to my measurements, yeah, which they're here somewhere. Oh, they're on the floor. Stand by. Oh. According to my measurements, the bottom skirt is 77 inches long, 9.5 inches from the top of the scrub rail to the bottom. So we're going to cut out 4 pieces of metal that are going to total 77 inches and 9.5 inches. And we're going to make that out of 2 pieces each side. And I've got another decent sized piece of metal there. That is not big enough for a door, which is why it's going to the skirt. It's also not big enough for a fender, which is why it's going to a skirt. I'm just kind of listening to a little bit of Kenny Wallace there talking about the NASCAR emails in the comments. Pause him for a second there. All right, working on the skirt. I got the big piece of the skirt done. It's 58 inches. Actually, it's 59.5. I left it a little long because we need to overlap it so that we can attach it. They're both right there. I now need another 20 inches in order to complete the whole length of the skirt. So what I got here is I've got 9.5 by 20, and I got 2 of them. I'm deciding whether to go back out and brave the windstorm out there. Just started to snow a minute ago. Or just use the hand cutters. The problem with the hand cutters is it bends the metal as you cut it, and I don't really want to do that. I think we're going to brave the cold, the wind, and the snow to get a couple more cuts in. Yep, that's what we're doing. I'll be right back, unless you want to come out in the cold with me, which is probably not, so I'll see y'all in a second. Well, my stomach is telling me it's about time for me to go get some lunch. However, when I come back, we're going to clean the edges up here with a flapper disc. We're going to bend some metal, and I think I need to rant just a little bit. Yeah, we're going to rant. All right, back from lunch. Belly's full. Time for the rant. Now, I just made before lunch 2 20-inch cuts and an 18-inch cut just to get these 2 pieces of metal here, right? I put a brand new cutoff wheel on the grinder, and it looked like that. Yes, that is a Maximum cutoff wheel. And yes, this is a brand new package. There's still got some of the wrapper on it. When I was done with those cuts, the wheel looked like that. Maximum, you got to do better. If you all know of a better cutoff wheel than that, which I'm sure there's some out there, like, you let me know, because I'm gonna have to go get a bank loan just to keep myself in cutoff wheels. We're gonna clean up the edges here. so that I don't bleed all over the place like I have been doing. And then we're going to break some metal. Not break it, we're going to put it in the metal brake and break it. Alright, straightened out my corners a little bit here. That's not too bad. 9 5/8. Supposed to be. Okay, that one's the same. So what I want is a 1-inch bend. So I'm going to come down. One inch there. 1 inch there. Not much of a line, but there's a line on there, and that's where we're going to break it. And we're going to do the same to this piece right here. Now, truth be told, I haven't really used this thing yet. Other than that test piece I did. Alright, we got her tight. Let's hope for the best. I don't want to tick too far, but I think we can make it work. That's not too bad at all. Yeah, a little too far over, but it'll work. One more, I'll be right back. Those didn't turn out too bad. I might have to do a little hammer and dolly work. The second one turned out way better than the first one. Now here's going to be the trick. That's a 30-inch metal brake. These pieces here are about 5.5, 6 feet long. It ain't going to fit. Just kind of wondering if maybe I should clamp it to the bench and use my locking pliers and bend it over 1 inch. What do y'all think? I think we're going to do the first one on the bench. See how that works. If that works out okay, then we're going to carry on to the second one. If that doesn't work out okay, I might just curl up in a ball and cry over here in the corner. So far, so good. Alright, I got my 1-inch mark drawn out here. Now, if the car wasn't on the trailer, I would just go to the edge of the trailer and pound it over with a hammer and call it a day, but the car's on the trailer, so there's not really any room to do that. Just trying to figure out how to do this. I'm debating whether to clamp down a piece of angle iron. That might work. The problem is, it's not as long as my sheet metal. That might be a problem. Oh, what the heck, let's give it a shot. Alright, let's just stand back and have a little look at this contraption here. Alright, I got the C-clamps upside down. That way when I go to bend this, it'll still give it some room to move. I got that clamp down there. It's on my 1-inch mark all the way along. The only spot I'm missing is there. Of course, I come up about 4 inches short. Story of my life. But, yeah. Went to Princess Auto last week and picked me up some of these. So we're going to give it a try. We're going to take our time. I'm not in a hurry. I'd like to get this one and the other one done tonight, and then we're going to call it a night. But for now, we've been winging everything else. We might as well wing this. So let's get to it. I don't want this to bind on the angle iron. So we're just going to go not quite up to it. Clamp it down. Give it a lift. Probably should have started on the end. Rather, why would you start in the middle? That I don't know. Not gonna lie to y'all, I think that's working. Alright, I gotta move you and I gotta move this, so we'll get back in a second. Alright guys, first pass. Not too bad at all. See, that's nice edge, but then I got a little greedy and tried to go a little more than I should have. And it started looking like a bag of wieners. Down here where I'm short, I tried to give that a little bit of a bend and I thought this is going to bow the whole thing. And it started to, so I stopped. So once I get this here up close to where it's supposed to be, I'll just move the angle iron down and I'll get that corner. Or that end. It's an end, not a corner. Let me try and knock this out and show you when I'm done. And yes, I know, you professionals at home that are tinsmiths and guys that have done this before and looking at this and thinking, what in the world is this guy doing? As I started this video saying, or the other one, either one, I know nothing about this. I am winging it. I didn't even YouTube this part. I'm just winging it. So if it works, great. If not, I'm trying to show you what not to do if it doesn't work. That's what we're going to go with. Anyway, let me get this one here done and then we're going to have a look at it. We got more waves than Lake Erie, but it's up there. Now I'm just going to hammer and dolly that flat, hopefully. And now you're all thinking, oh, you're just creating more work for yourself. I may be, but if I don't have a 8-foot metal brake and 8-foot shears, and it is what it is. You work with what you got, and plenty of you guys out there are doing the same thing, working with what you got. We don't have all the big tools. We got small tools, and my car is in the driveway. It's not in a shop. The other one's in a garage in Wheatley, but this one here is in my driveway. That's where I got to work on it, is in my driveway. I don't have a big shop. I am thankful though to have this small shop that I have where I can do this kind of work, because otherwise I'd be doing nothing. Because my wife will not let me bring this into the living room and set up the metal brake and start cutting and grinding metal. Don't ask me why. She's like that. She just frowns upon that sort of thing. So let me hammer and dolly this thing out. Again, I don't know how to use a hammer and dolly either, but we're going to give it a shot. And see if we can make it look halfway decent. Now, again, this is not going to be seen. This part here is the outside of the car. That sticks out. I got another piece of aluminum that's going to go on here, and that's going to be the side skirt of the car. Make sense? So no, it's not really going to be seen, but nevertheless, I don't want it to look like total crap because I know it's there. Anyway, let me get some of this straightened out and we'll see if we can make it look like we knew what we were doing. And that's going to be hard. We left the dolly in the drawer for now. Let's see if I can make this work. I got the piece of angle iron on here, clamp down. Just trying to make it look less ugly. Let me run this all the way down and then we'll see what we got. Not bad. Let's look and see where this got us. Not too bad. Got a little one there, got to fix. Got a bunch of little ones, right? Now it looks like we just got a minor storm coming across Lake Erie. Nothing big. I'm now going to stand it on its end. Like that. And try and pound out what I can. Get it a little flatter. You know, I'm here. I might as well do it. And see if we can make that work. One thing I found rather interesting. When you're moving the metal, if you're pounding something out here, it has to go somewhere and it'll move down the line and then carry on. So here's where we're at. That's our 90. Not bad. Not bad. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But did I do it by hand? Most certainly did. So give it a shot. Now I got one more to do. Now for the skirt, obviously the long piece isn't long enough to go from one end to the other. So what we're going to do here is put one inside the other, just like this. And that'll be our skirt. The top half is going to be under the rub rail, which is probably going to bolt in right about here. So you're going to have that much skirt down below. If I have to shorten it between here and there, not a big deal. Just cut it off. But for the meantime, I am quite happy with the bend. Now it's obviously not a metal brake bend, but it's a bend nonetheless, and did it by hand. I learned something. That's the important thing. I learned something. That's probably going to be it for tonight. I'm going to knock this other one out before I go in the house. That way it's done. So I think we may call the video there. We're trying to play within the YouTube algorithm, and there's all kinds of analysis on videos that may be more than 30 minutes, less, an hour. We're going to try and keep them around a half an hour, 30 minutes. So where are we at? We got the deck lid and the spoiler done, as well as the side fins. We got the fender skirt done, as well as the little pieces to make it a little longer. And we got the two upper quarter panels. Can you see where we're going with this here? We're going to get all the parts built, all the parts stacked up, and then we're going to have another video where they're all put together on the car, and we're all going to see what it looks like together. And like I mentioned in past videos, we are closing in on 7,000. I'll spit it out here in a second. We are closing in on 7,000 subscribers. And it's all thanks to you guys for hitting the like button, the share button, getting these videos out there. And I appreciate that very much. So with that, hope you all have an awesome night, day, evening, whatever time you're watching this. I'll see you all in the next one. Later.